Oh, you heard? Oh, it's on. Oh, hi there. Oh no, I didn't realize the mic was on. Oops. Hi everyone. How's it all going? How's it all doing? I was gonna hold off a bit because I wasn't sure like what's it called, how many people were rolling in just yet, but um, it has been a week. It feels like it's been going on forever. I think the fact that I streamed on Monday made it almost seem like such a grueling stretch between like what's it called? Like the two times I streamed. So like Tuesday and Thursday just felt like they went on forever. But I am doing good. I am doing great. What's it called? I've been looking online because what's it called? Evo just I guess it's starting tomorrow, but daylight say I guess with the what's it called with time zones, I guess like Nevada's more like somewhere like either mountain or Pacific. Like what's that time zone for Las Vegas? That is at least Pacific, yes. So like I guess overnight it'll probably be like a little later, but depending on which what's it called, you it may or may not arrive to you soon. Sorry, this music sounds a little cool. I'm like, I forgot what this was. I'm looking on like I guess my main like base, and I see like just all kinds of symbols. I don't think it's legible or typable. I'll have to like put it elsewhere. Like put on everything. But yeah, yeah. Evo is like I guess kind of getting started. Everyone's starting to roll in a bit. And I think that a lot of people are starting to realize that there is a water situation. So I kind of feel like almost like that rare like instance of like being able to have some kind of prophecy over this. I was like, oh man, the Apollo gift of prophecy sort of thing happened where I was like, oh yeah, like what's it called? A lot of people are gonna have difficult times like getting water. And if that's ever the case and you need water, like what's it called? Make sure that you're able to get it elsewhere from not the hotel. Because the hotel's gonna charge way too much. But aside from that, um, today was a very weird day for me. I ended up like starting off the day just like listening to like piano covers of things. Like I recently kind of hit like almost kind of like a realization where if you play the song Barbie Girl on piano, it kind of sounds like it would be like a Fire Emblem song. Like I was saying it for the Thong song where Cisco's Thong song sounds like instrumentally it would be a Fire Emblem song, but I have to add like Barbie Girl's instrumental to that as well. Like if you play it with like piano or orchestra, that's all pretty solid. Also, like what's it called? I was recently within the past day or so, I was like just kind of writing fan fiction for funsies. I think I just kind of felt inspired out of nowhere. I was just like, I'm just gonna write like a little, just like one shot. It's nothing too crazy, or not. It's not like slash fic. So I think that it would definitely be safe to share at some point. But it was just kind of something where I was like, as a writing exercise, I should probably practice writing some things. I think what's it called? I saw somebody like promoting a fanzine that they were pushing out recently. Their expiration date came recently. I mean, came like way long ago in May. But I was like, maybe I should just kind of like write this out and keep it on retainer. Maybe submit it to some kind of fanzine. But yeah. Yeah, I was doing clips of like FF10. I got a little bit worried because I started realizing that I do have a bit of a verbal tick. I say a lot of likes, I say a lot of ums, I say quite a bit of stuff that just kind of feels like word filler. So it's one of those things where it can be a little tricky to like have that sent in or have that like thrown in there. Sorry, I added a ton of songs on here as well, so if you hear a lot of like Europop at some point or Eurodance, that'll be the reason. But yeah, I'm. Let's see what I have. All right, day's not getting any longer, so let's get this game started. I will jump right in. I'm gonna shut all this off. Take my sweet ass time opening up this Ace Attorney. Let me get a moment. Whoop, whoop, and then magic. Oh jeez. You might have to excuse me a sec. I'll be in the bathroom in a sec. My nose got really clogged up. Actually, no, I have a tissue box right here. Don't worry. Don't worry your sweet little hearts. I'm just gonna mute. There we go. Hopefully that wasn't too bad. That nobody noticed me. Alright. Let's get this party started. We are going to be dancing once again. It'll be once again time for yet another yet another of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Let me get some drink in. A little ginger tea, a little water. Gotta do both because, you know, bad bitch alert. Alright. First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business have you ventured to this pawnbrokery today? You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. The piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement for this very shop. Yet even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need for such employ. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane by which you unwittingly clutch on your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak of course, is the missing ferrule. The end of any cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet detailed analysis shows that just the tip is quite other bare. Therefore, there's only one logical conclusion. The rod you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact not a cane at all. You recoil, sir. Is there something wrong? In your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer to the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle which you evidently would like to conceal is the key to understanding this riddle, you see. From the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle, mused I. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cane. No, that rod is quite an aroused one indeed. Is a broken handle of a shovel. What? Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion's clear. Your true motive for coming here was to take employment in this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime. The conclusion: he wanted to whip out his aroused rod in front of everybody. Egbert Benedict, how could you? Now, Mr. Benedict, shall I continue? Well, we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say? Oh, but there's ample reason. As you are all too aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, and your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath its floor. Oh wow, thank you so much, little petri dish. Awesome. I'm so happy to see you on. Oh, it's so nice. Thank you so much for following. I'm so happy to have you along. You're so awesome. Thank you so much. Welcome, Raiders. Oh, thank you so much for following. Let's see. Let's open this guy up. My floor. Hi, Nozomi. How's it going? Oh man, it's so great to have y'all along. Brought my BF and his stream along. Oh, nice. Thank you so much for coming along. I'm in like the beginning of the 5th chapter of The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. You gotta recommend by Mike GF. I saw you play Ace Attorney, couldn't resist. Oh, thank you all so much. I'm really so happy that y'all came along. Yeah, like, what's it called? I got so deep into... This is the prequel to, I guess, Phoenix Wright. So this is like his like great-great-grandpa. But yeah, currently what's it called? I went to this pawn shop that like Sherlock Holmes or like Herlock went to. And he pawned off, I think, one of his like instruments. And we had to get it from this dude who keeps pulling a gun on himself. It's very astoundingly like awful that he keeps doing that, but he's very insistent. But apparently she came in and like he's accusing her of stealing a jacket that she's trying to pawn off. But in the process, now old Herlock here is trying to prove that Mr. Eggert's Benedict is here for a very specific reason. I'm glad you really enjoyed this series. It's been really awesome getting into it. I got into the first Phoenix Wright game, but I still need to play all of the other ones. So I'm hoping that, what's it called? that it'll be a little easier to dip in as I get further in. I feel like the last stream was just kind of finishing off the fourth chapter and a little bit of the fifth one. The fifth one at the moment's kind of a slow burn because I spent most of like that stream pretty much in Herlock's place because he's just like a miserable wreck because his like famous, I guess his like I think his like what's it called? His like violin got like replaced with a cello or something like that, and it made his like music sound terrible. So he was just in this huge depressive slump throughout the whole thing. But yeah. Now like I guess Herlock is trying to like explain why Eggert Benedict's here. Might be wanting to dig through the floor of this establishment. Let me get my hydrate in. The answers revealed by the council notice on the counter to which your eyes are inadvertently drawn. Hey, if it's a slow start, maybe it's going to be a real good one later on. Yeah. I say it's more of a slow burn because I think now we're just starting to get into the mystery stuff. A lot of the last stream was mostly just kind of like building up on our relationship with Herlock. So a lot of that was mostly just fleshing out Herlock now that we like live in his like apartment. But now that we live in Herlock's apartment, now we have to get to know his eccentricities. And part of that is, I guess, finding out like what's going on with this trial. Or not trial, this like I guess this scene. Ace Attorney 2 picks up so much more. Both Grims are great. 2 is insane. I can't wait for 2. There was another person that was here that was like a super huge fan of like Eggert, who what's it called? Tells me that the second part of this is gonna be nuts and it's gonna be great. But I'm almost there. I'm on the 5th chapter, so like what's it called? Maybe after like a couple more streams of this, I'll be moving on to part 2. This letter gives notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan and the upcoming sewerage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins another, one that runs under the bank on the opposing side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain access to the waterway that flows in very close proximity to the great vaults of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan! Which should bring us to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off with from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer's no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know. A postcard of the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway. And the government has provided extra funds to complete the centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in the vault of the bank on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, the considerable crime you have been contemplating is the theft of that which sits in the vault of that bank, the special reserve funds for the Great Exhibition. Of course, that's a top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please. And so, the ends of your part of this. And now for me to prove it wrong. Thus concludes Herlock Sholmes' great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle. Mr. Sholmes? Well, Mr. Naruto, an impressively upbeat deduction from a detective racked with loneliness. Would you not agree? Was it true what you said about the bank over the road? And what it has in its vault? Indeed. Though few know of its existence, it is one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence. But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact. Ah! And if it's such a big secret, how do you know Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it? There can be but one explanation to that. Clearly, it's because the man's a criminal. But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he's a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed it. Oh? Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Wensbank will. You already said plenty of shovels here, alright?
Oh, my life, I assure you, I'm not so scrupulous.
Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care. One can never be so sure, or never can be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out. Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding in you next time, Mr. Sholmes. An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea. I'm gonna be lurking now, but hope you have a good one. That's all good. Hope that, what's it called? You have a good time with this. Happy lurking. Ace. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo. You know what to do, I'm sure. Yes. Let's listen to that great deduction again, and see if we can massage it into shape. A little kinks out. Give it a little bit of massage, maybe a little happy ending. Very well then, let us start once more from the beginning. Of Herlock Sholmes' most magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular. Naruhodo Remix. First of all, ask ourselves what business. Claim to follow the pickpocket, but there's a ticket, and that is a lie. The real truth is a lot more different. Oop. As revealed by that in your hand, what brought you to this shop? That's it. So, by Mr. Sholmes' reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the hole. Do the floor. Yes, an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get far with the broken shovel, would he? No. I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this particular point in time? Let's see. That's a staff recruitment flyer. I think I would like to see this. That's a proper English gentleman's cane, isn't it? Look at the beautiful polished brass in the handle. Yes, but Mr. Sholmes is right. It's not the handle you see on a cane. Perhaps it's the latest London fashion. I mean, that's just guesswork, of course. Perhaps you could adopt a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. It might rather suit you. I have a feeling it might argue with the sword around my waist. What could it be now? Let's see. I think I saw something behind this dude's back. Hold on, sorry. There we go. That's a staff recruitment. There's a cane. Sorry, my controller is a bit wild. There is scribbled writing. Oh, look at the scribbled notes on the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name, Gina Lestrade. Height, 5'2". Green cap, scuffy waistcoat. Grubby white shirt. Oh, thank you so much for following. It's so nice to have you along. Alright. Well, it was nice to see y'all. Thank you so much. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness. There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Although, if he showed it to her, she'd fire off that smoke grenade launcher in her face for sure. And look, the details of this shop have been written down here too. Windibank's Pawnbrokery, Baker Street. Redemption deadline, 15th of April. Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have this information on the back of his paper? Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the info about Miss Lestrade. Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear the writing in the sketch and the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket Miss Lestrade and to the Windibank's pawnbrokery here. Ah. You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you. But that, sir, was a thinly veiled lie. It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today. By which I mean, here to Windibank's pawnbrokery. And today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat. So if you waited outside to the young girl matching the description you have written down there, and you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason that you pursued Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive to your actions. The cane by which you unwittingly clutched to your person exhibits an uncontrovertible contradiction. You utter rot! I've had this cane for years. Oh, this is the same stuff I've read beforehand. The missing faru. What's a ferrule? It's a metal cap commonly found at the end of a cane, Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, the bit that makes a nice clanky sound on the pavement. Yes, exactly. And Mr. Sholmes is right. It appears to be missing on this cane. But it doesn't actually look broken, does it? No, it doesn't. Though, a gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Sholmes identified the cane as suspicious. In other words, there is some secret about the cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we not know. What is it about this cane? It's the name. It's this little embroidery. Yeah. AG. Look here, Miss Susato. There's some letters on the handle. Ah, yes. Those would be initials, I think. And in the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names. So, Herlock Sholmes would be HS, you mean? That's right. And the initials on the cane, obviously. Oh. AG. Why does it feel as though that's not right? We gotta present this. Oh, I don't think the music's been on. Oops. My bad. Oh man, this is scuff. I'm so sorry, guys. The contradiction which I speak of course, is instilling. A most astute observation, would you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are EB. Yet in the most possessive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials AG. An uncontrovertible contradiction indeed, would you not agree? No, you're wrong. This cane isn't. You said before you had the cane for years. So don't try telling us that you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in a park. In short, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name. You recoil, sir. Is there something wrong? That's the, what's it called? The thing with the shovel. Let's consider the bare bones of what's happening here. Miss Lestrade redeemed that fine-looking coat. And now, a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name. And claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. But we know it's actually identified Miss Lestrade from a written description. Which suggests that everything else he told us is untrue. So what we need to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Let's see, it would be probably... Ooh, this little tear. Oh, the seam on the shoulder's coming apart, look. So it is. Do you know? A moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. It sounded like a bit of a tiny growl. But now that I think about it, the sound of his seam was probably ripping open. If you look closely, it does seem like a very tight fit. The sleeves have stretched and burst, and he wouldn't have hoped to fasten it from the front. If you were to run around, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart. That I'd like to see. Sorry? How can we make sure that Mr. Benedict... How can we make Mr. Benedict run around? See. She's really giving this some thought. I guess probably it would be the split seam. Let me present that.
Take that!
The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle, you see? Yes, because the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit. Having forced it over the broad shoulder, the seam is already breaking apart. My suspicions were aroused from the outset. When you so boldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. This catalog of untruths has been, for 1 year, very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winterbank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed. Was it called to steal an item? Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. But we must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, designed a wheeze to fill some tawdry article of pottage? Have you forgotten that I've redeemed the article in a proper manner, using the watchword? Whoop! Had I not been the one to dispose of it, deposit it in the first place, how could I possibly have known the relevant details, n'est-ce pas? Oh, but the watchword can be discovered. As you're only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Your fervent glance is more than telling. This is the stuff I have to debunk. I have to disprove. Yeah. Oh yeah. The council notes. Oh yeah, in advance I forgot to thank people. I think what's it called? It all happened so quickly and I couldn't read the screen. Yeah, for Petri Dish Melfixim and Seashock. Thank you to all three of you for being able to follow along. I'm so sorry I didn't get to address it in advance. But I want to thank you all for following me and being able to carry I guess through this carry through all my little stutters and such. The direction of deduction must change rather dramatically now, I think. Yes, no more talk of tunneling into the sewers, which is a pity, since it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway, you can't deny that this mysterious gentleman didn't know the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Windibank would never allow you to redeem the article. Or, looking at it another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Windibank would allow you to redeem the article, whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? I guess it would be through maybe the notelets? Look at this, Miss Susato. It appears to be a memo that Mr. Windibank has scribbled to himself. Let's see, what does it say? Oh, Professor! Mr. Windibank must take note of his watchwords his customers give him, right before their eyes. And in an alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear, I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secrets I might see. I think this might be evidence. Not this picture of a cat. I think that's a cat.
Take that!
The method is revealed by the notelet on the counter, to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whether a customer comes to redeem an article. He asks the customer for the watchword and notes down the responses uttered on the notelet he has on hand. Then he consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker. But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages. What are you talking about? It's increasingly apparent that you were present in the shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her inside, then you observed her talking to Mr. Windibank. Then, when the broker had a note of the watchword as his common practice, you observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger. And that, sir, Was the master plan you devised to steal the pond article from the young Miss Lestrade?
Master plan?
Which brings us to the last and final chapter. This is more stuff I have to debunk. Oh man. Reflex. Oh, I'm so sorry. What's it called? Yeah, oh no, he's still here. Eggert's still there. I think I just got like, I'm in just kind of the process of going through the what's it called, the deduction from Naruhodo's point of view. So I'm on the last point with the what's it called? With the I guess the Naruhodo version. Oh. Yeah. He looks very charming, yes. What's it called? At the moment he's I guess we're finding out why he's trying to like, I guess, take the jacket. I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. He is very pouty. You see the picture postcard? Oops. The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which, according to Mr. Windibank, isn't even worth a penny. And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? I have to have a thorough look through all the evidence we've collected so far. Whoop. Ooh, this disc. Let's see. I need to look at this. Why is triangle so absolutely do not? Circle. X is A. Oh no, circle. This guy. Mr. McGilded. Oh wait, shit. I would just have to present this.
Take that!
You see, this music box disc tells us all we need to know. What's that? On the back? It reads, for Mr. McGilded. Sir Magnus McGilded, the unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his lawn-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Or perhaps a subordinate? Yeah, this guy's like really like, oh man, we are going to be talking about how this man like really ripped off like a lot of people in his lifetime. Oh, look at this little golden retriever picture. There's a little doggo in the corner. That's so funny. I love it. Mr. McGilded was a man of unusually small stature. That's mean. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat you squeezed yourself into. Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this pawnbrokery today. Was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded. I'm so more focused on Benedict's beautiful face. Also, Benedict's taller than Herlock, over 6 feet. How did he not break the jacket at its seams by his wiggles? Yeah, like there was like a little seam on his shoulder just because he like moved around way too much. If he's taller than Herlock, then he's like way taller than what's his name, Magnus McGilded. So yeah, he definitely would need a new coat. Well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances. Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something really troubling on my mind. Pray tell, Mrs. Otto. Well, according to what Mr. Windibank told us earlier, today was the final day on which the coat could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. Today would be precisely 2 months since it was first deposited.
Well, today's April 15th, so 2 months ago.
Would have been the 15th of February, sir. That's right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger. Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see.
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th February is precisely the day on which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time in which the terrible events were unfolding. Getting a haircut. I should try my hand at getting a haircut like Benedict's the day before school starts. That'd be a lot of fun. Getting almost kind of that short coif going on. Like, I imagine that was it called. Like, looking at, like, the hairstyle he has, like, it's like a very nice, almost a little bit of, like, a comb-over, like, bang, almost. Like, slick back sides, but with, like, a little bit of, like, a bang to it. It's a lot of fun. I think that would be a really nice style to go with. Suggestive is not the word. Ooh, suggestive. What kind of suggestive are we talking here, Mr. Herlock? It would seem the matter is beyond entirely coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, I will fucking murder you with this weapon. I insist you hand over the music box disc now. Your lewds, hand them over. It would have been a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box. What do I do? Let's see. Hands over the disc? Absolutely not. I don't think that this would be a game over. Be like, absolutely not. This is important evidence. There are some things a man must protect at all costs. His balls, his word, and a really nice vinyl. Then again, it may not. Mr. Windibank.
This is my shop. I cannot allow any harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life.
No, you aim it at the other dude. You aim it at Eggert. What's it called? This is your pawn shop you have to protect. You won't protect it by firing on yourself. That's not how gunfights work. Mr. Windibank, no. Alright, that's enough. Windibank, don't shoot my wife. It's okay, he can shoot himself. Be like one less beautiful face to worry about bruising.
Okay, that's enough.
Mr. Gregson. Inspector.
That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. So we got here as fast as we could. Now what's this all about, eh? Oh, praise thee. You're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life in this very own establishment.
It would seem you have the upper hand.
Right, you have a lot of explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with such petty argy-bargy.
Petty? Mr. Windibank nearly met his end.
Yeah, well, by his own gun as far as I could tell. Oh dear. And the whole of Britain couldn't meet its own end if I don't get to the bottom of this case like I'm supposed to be working out. And if I shake this anymore, I might lose a chip.
What on earth is the case, Mr. Inspector? Span on detail, Gregson.
I might have said a little too much. No matter. It's got nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you would have to come with me down to the station. You're coming downtown, sir.
But of course, Inspector.
Ah! He's getting away! Get after him, lads! Whistle the beep officer, too.
Sir! He sashayed away. I understand. If I'm going to leave somewhere, I don't merely just walk out. I have to twirl. I have to sashay. You better work. Love him, he's so silly. He's so wacky, pulling a gun on me and then just like giving a little twirl away.
There's been a spat of thefts at the pawn shop around here recently. So we fitting emergency buttons underneath the counters for brokers to let them know when they're trouble. Oh, Inspector, I was very worried there for a while. Very worried indeed. Now then, Mr. Permanently in mourning.
Oh, yes.
I'll be taking whatever it is of Mr. McGilden's down to the yard, thank you very much. So hand it over.
Oh, yes, of course.
No, don't
Give it to him. It's mine. That is, it's mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to Mr. McGilden has to be taken in as evidence now.
As evidence? If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It is all yours, Inspector. And so, we handed Mr. McGilden Mr. McGilden's disc. Sorry, I was going to stutter and say dick. That's not right. We handed Mr. McGilden's dick over to Inspector Gregson. He put it in a jar just like Rasputin. And we summarily turfed it out of the shop and onto the street. AG are the periods for silver that contrast Mr. McGilden's name with gilded being gold. Ah man, the gold standard versus the... what's it called? The stand... Forget the silver part. Save my progress, but of course. The pawnbrokery. Mr. McGilden has no generals. He's Barbie doll. Smooth. He's not allowed. be like, oh yeah, he doesn't have a penis or anything. It's fine. He's like, oh no, I have everything. Don't listen to Barbie here. I have everything. See, that's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take stuff away from you. Oh really, Miss Lestrade? Tell me, what is that overcoat? Is that overcoat keeping you warm? What? Oh my, surely you were given that. Yeah, the D let me have it. After I looked daggers at him long enough. He went through his pockets and said, go on then, have it, before telling me to scrap her. Anything always pays off. Giving people a look like you hate them. I can't help feeling that it's gonna get you into serious trouble one day. What I really wanted was a nice shiny disc, mind. The music box disc. The music box disc. I think box disc is what throws me off. Cause like, the X and the SK like mashing together makes me want to say music box tick instead of music box disc. But Mr. Windibank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go and have another bash. Give him a long hard stare. I think not, Miss Lestrade. We shan't enter Windibanks again today. Why not? That's not fair. It can't be helped, I'm afraid. I wish I had the overcoat. Benedict wore it and danced around it. The coat could have its scent. Oh, that's very cultured. Be like, he worked up enough sweat. Like, maybe you could lick it. Maybe if it's like, get a little bit of the underarm and it's like, oh, hey, that smells like Benedict. That's like a little bit of like, what's it called? A little French cologne, a little BO. I get that. I understand the hustle and I understand the motivation behind this. I understand what's cooking here. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Windibank. What the disc's mine? I had the ticket for his coat and it was in his coat pocket. And there should be something else at all. That what that Rotten Cove said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he? Well then, that's mine too, whatever it is. Now she's really pushing her luck. Miss Lestrade, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day. Yeah, it's all your fault, Sholmes. Pretty boys with trauma. They're a very easy bunch to be able to simp for. So what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening? Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital. No ta. Oh? Why would I come to your place, eh? Have you lost her head or something? Oh dear, she's gone. Having relied on me quite unnecessarily, I might add. I can't help but wonder if perhaps she might turn up anyways. Interesting. Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come. Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for a potential guest at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later too. Sorry? I believe I'll have a rather splendid surprise to show you. Oh, how exciting. What is it? You shall have to wait and see, Mrs. Sato. Until then, later. He has to move. Meg's my favorite. He's way soup blonde, traumatic childhood. A very easy, like, it's a very easy decision to be able to look at like a character like Benedict and see like, I guess just this really charming but very charming and dramatic person. I think just from the initial like interview or the initial kind of like interrogation, it was really fun to see him go from like dancing and like sashaying around to just being like, I'm going to pull a gun out, so please just hand over your stuff.
Ah, Susie and Runo. Come in, come in.
Good afternoon, Iris.
Thank you so much for the breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, look at the time already.
Busy as always?
Ah, yeah. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening.
Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you?
Oh, yes. After all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? You'll never guess.
Looking at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear. It is awkward, you already know cancer, isn't it? I love like he drops the rawest lines. I'm looking forward to it. Because I remember hearing that, what's it called? I remember the line that, what's his name, Broly dropped in the last one where he's like, I cursed God. It's like, whoa, you cursed who? I feel like the writing in this game is so intense. It's really fun. How you juxtapose it between these fun, subtle moments like this, and then like, what's it called? The dramatic lines.
Oh, it's Ginny. Isn't that exciting?
Oh, what a surprise! Yes, that is good news. Wow, Iris seems overjoyed at the idea.
I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing tips from a real professional.
I can't wait to learn how to steal. Oh yes, that does sound like fun. I can't wait to steal from people. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate, are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Shomes up to? Oh man, he's got the hat off again.
Hurley? Oh, he's been like that for a while ever since he got back.
Hello? Mr. Shomes? I beg that you won't speak to me. Sorry. I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here. Every time I draw Bennett, these bangs get longer. Oh, you draw art. That's really awesome. I'm not really good at drawing. I'm a lot better at writing. So things like little prompts or poetry or like fan fiction. I want to write a book at one point, but at the moment I'm just taking it slow. I don't know how to respond to that.
I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything.
Yes, I see.
Really, he behaves like a child sometimes, Hurley does.
Mr. Shomes and Iris have something of a parent-child relationship, don't they? Yes, except Iris is the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are.
What's the matter, Runo? You ever have such a look? You have ever such a funny look on your face.
Oh, no, it's nothing.
I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Shomes, you're wondering? Am I right?
Whoa, how did you know?
Oh, Runo, I can read you like a book.
Ugh, this girl's dangerous.
Don't worry, you can ask me anything. I won't mind.
I guess anything. Living with Mr. Shomes. Wrote a 5. Pick the least spoiler excerpt if you want to read some of it. That would be nice. That'd be a lot of fun.
I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you?
Well, it has crossed my mind. That and where your real parents are.
My mommy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mommy passed away when I was born. And around the same time, my father, well, he had to go to a faraway land. It's one of the cases he and Hurley were working on.
Oh. Wait a minute. Did you say he and Hurley?
Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mystery cases together.
She didn't mention that before. There you go. It was the most perfect picturesque plan. It was perfect. It was picturesque. He was a perfect cloud. It was every ember and every lick of flame. He was the smoking grave of the dove, and it was the white as burning blaze of vengeance and fury and wrath and absolute greed. That's a very wonderful excerpt. I do love how very expressive it is, and being able to kind of almost capture almost this sort of fiery intensity behind the dude. I feel like it's a really good read, or I feel like it'll be a really awesome read.
He wrote them all in his diaries. That's what the metal chest has.
Really? He recorded them all.
So, you mean it's true, Mr. Sholmes? Really did have a partner with whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases. Oh, yes. I mean, it's always nice to have one, isn't it?
So, Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father?
Exactly. Hurley told me I wasn't allowed to look in the chest. But that only made me want to look even more. So I opened it up.
And found your father's memoirs.
Yes. And so I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He nearly fell out of his chair. But then he told me. That's when I found all the authors of those accounts. It was my father.
So, Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner.
I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So, it came as quite a shock when Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy. I mean,
He must have done. No, it must have done. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you at such a young age.
Hurley said it was because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me.
Oh,
Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, you might say that in his ways it rubbed off on me.
Herlock boyfriend real. Herlock boyfriend confirmed. Long lost partner.
There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes.
Right.
Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diaries. That's what inspired me to write The Adventure of Sherlock Holmes, actually.
I'd always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all these thrilling stories.
Oh no, Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he's solved a case, it all but vanishes from his mind.
Oh, I see.
The other day, it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot a case he'd just solved. So the very next day, he gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It was quite a shock to everyone.
Don't bring Iris around Benedict. Oh no, she might add him to his stories. Be like The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes and like, what's it called? The Seductive Enchanter. You can say that again.
You share your father's surname, don't you, Iris? That's right, Wilson. My daddy is Dr. John H. Wilson. I learned from his diaries he's a doctor of medicine, you see. And that's what prompted me to study and study, so that I may one day earn a doctorate as well.
Iris's father, who went to some distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson.
The court will now hear the trial of Ryunosuke Naruhodo. Kindly state before the court in the name of the victim in this case.
The victim's name was Dr. John H. Wilson. Oh no. Oh my, I forgot. Oh no, he died. I completely forgot that John H. Wilson. I didn't realize that that was supposed to be Watson. That was supposed to be this universe's Watson. And he got murdered by that one lady. What's it called? Giselle. The man who was in the most bizarre circumstances lost his life just before he left Japan. The tutorial victim. Oh no. Miss Susada, we have a lot of bad news to give to Iris.
Yes.
Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at this time. Irish just constantly saying things like, I wonder where Daddy is, and we both know all too well. I think that would be for the best. This is awful. So, by Ginny you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from Mr. McGilded's case, right?
Yes, who also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after the trial, I invited her back here, and we had dinner together.
So many dead dads in this case. It seems like we're starting off with quite a few.
And now we're best of friends. Oh, what a lovely tale. Yes, and now we bump into her on the street. She runs as fast as she can.
Oh,
And I chase her down the back alleys.
interesting idea of friendship.
And then, I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed.
Oh,
There's so many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants me to make a whole rainbow.
aw man, pride. I understand. I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you?
Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now.
Hurlock gets shot with smoke grenades.
Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. It's been too long since she came over.
What do you want to guess that Benedict's real name is? I'm never gonna shut up about him. I'm not sure. I guess it would be... I think it was like AG or AJ. Like, part of me wants to think he might be an Alan. But, like, he kind of has that look of an Alan, but maybe it's a little bit more posh than that.
I'm so excited.
I just hope she does actually come. Ah, my dear fellows, how good to see you. Oh, Mr. Shelms. Whatever did you not make your presence known to me before? Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you? We've been with you for most of the day. Goodness, really? It's like, why is he... It's like the hair, it's so foofy. You just want to like grab his hair and tussle it. He's also very tall, so he can be very commanding and like imposing. But he's also not very threatening, so you know if he did, it would be like, what's it called? He would be able to like, you know, give the green light and such. Like, you can give him the green light and then he can be imposing. The less good blonde twink is like, I guess the ash blonde has like a nice kind of ruggedness to it a bit. Even though he's like very like slender. Is your violin unscathed? My violin. What are you talking about, dear madam? Oh, never mind that now. I have something far more interesting to show you. Behold, my dear fellows. Oh, another music box disc. No, not another disc. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence. Mr. McGilded's disc. Oh my. Then what is it doing here? You know, at times, Mr. Naruhodo, I think that, though I have an undeniable turn of detection, I may very well be more adept at larceny.
Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'll be your pickpocketing assistant. And Runo could be our go-to lawyer if we ever get caught.
Right.
Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting. She could write all of our menacing crime notifications.
Yes, I would be delighted. I'm just gonna pretend that this conversation never happened, I think. They just converse about The music box disc. I don't understand. How did that come to be in your possession? I thought Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard. It was, quote, bought this popular with Ace Attorney, submitted Bennick's best quote, so people thought it was Kazuma and made me so mad. I imagine that would be really, like, just hair-pullingly maddening, anger-inducing. I miss the Ace Attorney bot on Twitter. I think they had to like hang up the towel because like the AI shit got so bad on the site, but like it used to be so nice to be able to just like have those sort of things where you could like pull it aside and it'd just be like somebody like doing the whole Ace Attorney script using somebody's chat. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this, the salted caramel drugs. That's a bar of cocaine, Mr. Sholmes. Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken. If you will humor me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back when the good detective confiscated the disc. The different Twitter product. Lost affection, we took it over. Ah, I see.
I'll be taking whatever it is. Hand it over.
Oh yes, of course. The police demand something, my dear fellow. No choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector. Teehee. Don't teehee while we're in the middle of this, Sherlock. For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hands, did I not? Yes, you did. But I still don't understand. It was at that precise moment that I summoned one of my only friends in action. I pressed the disc into a pair of bars, like this. That's amazing. The disc and the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. That indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed myself, I know. You know, suitably soft for making expressions, but resistant to melting. The result of a precisely controlled solution. The best part of waking up is cocaine in your cup. How extraordinary. Carry on a pair of one of persons frequently proves. Carry a pair of these on one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key for instance. A simple press in its unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will and never without high sucrose nourishment. Yes, that sounds illegal. Quite so. From the image I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music that would issue from the disc when played. The music on the disc. Let's see. Actually, Herlock's coffee is opium. The best part of waking up is opium in your cup. Sorry, it reminds me of, there's like the cocaine T-Rex that like buries his face in the cocaine and starts singing about it. That's always what I think about. This little like just T-Rex plushie just dunking his face into like a large bowl of powder. Do tell us, Mr. Sholmes, what music does the disc play? Well, unfortunately, I have no idea. No idea? None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box, my dear fellows? No, I'm afraid not. Goodness, you don't know, Bruno? Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances pluck the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making different notes. Yeah, I'll have to put it up as like my thank you message later. The little T-Rex guy.
The first music box to be invented used a rotating cylinder.
But over time, a new type of player was produced, which produces discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of the music box spread far and wide all across the globe.
Why exactly?
Because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the difference of playing in different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now that have been manufacturing music boxes as a result.
It's wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no performer is present.
But it is very precisely the invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem.
What do you mean?
As you imagine, the construction of one's firm's music box does not match that of another. We have no way of knowing in which music box, in this particular case, was designed to be played. And there's no resolution for this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable.
Ah, I see. So that's why.
Naturally, I tested the disc out in those few music boxes I have in my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were quite equally unsatisfying with this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made in Europe. The Council of Egg have decided Benedict's birthday is February 15th on the very same day all of this went down. That he happened to like, all this stuff with McGilded just happened to happen on like Eggert's birthday.
That's early for you, always taking things too far.
But my dear girl, an unresolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution.
But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge volume of music boxes, won't it?
Yes, that is certainly true, in the West case. I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic room. What? I think I might be done another half hour. Yeah. Magnus McGilded, not a name I expected to hear again so soon. Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion.
Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows. Still now.
The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. He's not allowed to experience happiness. I guess part of his existence involves the suffering. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder in which he was so intimately involved with was buried. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGilded's innocence in the trial, the newspapers are still claiming it all remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Thrice-Fired Mason. We're still calling him Thrice-Fired in Death. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really remains of that tonight. And although Mr. McGilded was found guilty through my defense, I still don't know if it was the right judgment or not. It would appear the case is not yet closed.
Well, it's time to get started for dinner.
Poor Mason, he had a family. We're still calling him thrice fired, even though he has people that are still living that found him to be a wonderful gentleman. Thank you, Iris.
Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do.
I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it? Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with the pawnbroker. Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on a bus. Sorry, this background music kind of sounds like that one. If only God were one of us, or If God Were One of Us song. Yes, you may be right.
Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Windibank said before.
He said he had a manuscript of Iris's in the pond, didn't he? What a sweet guy. He only wanted to drive, but he ended up getting stabbed instead. Did he? He definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom, were his words, I believe.
So you heard about that, did you? I expected you were as incensed as I was.
Oh, yes. The idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Windibank's storeroom, gathering dust. My dear madam, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it. More secure than any bank's vault.
And what
About your Stradivarius, Hurley?
was that, safe and secure?
Well, there may be the occasional mix-up, caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from us now.
Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds exciting. The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it.
Ah! What have I done? What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just swept through the room? Thrice-fired Mason seemed like he was a very lovely gentleman. A kind eyes, and I imagine a kind smile as well. A very kind disposition. He had a very open mind and an open heart. One that welcomed anything, especially knives. Sus. What did you just say?
You said, The Hound of the Baskervilles. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's
because Miss Susato's such a great fan of all the stories, of course.
But Runo, The Hound of the Baskervilles, has never been published.
What?
When I showed Hurley the manuscript, he told me he wasn't allowed to publish it yet.
I don't understand.
That's why he said he'd keep it safe. Until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see.
So that's why the manuscript is at Windibank's.
And yet, how could Susie know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on?
Ah! What is it, Mr. Sholmes?
It would
Appear that our guest has arrived. Oh shit, she did show up. Miss Lestrade. This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. No, wait! Miss Lestrade! We've all been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris?
Oh yes, just wait here, Ginny. We'll have everything ready in a jiffy. Come along, Susie.
Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you here, Miss Lestrade. Please make yourself at home. Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some Mendelssohn? I won't take a no for an answer. Meddlesome, is it then? Gina's like a cocoon. I see. Oh, the cat flap.
Oh, hey.
Oh man, the whole family. It's about family. It's about family.
Sorry, I'm trying to do my best Vin Diesel. Mr. Shom's violent. It might as well be violent. Mr. Shom's violin performance was in no way meddlesome. And Gina, as we came to call her, taught us all about how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night. The 15th of April. Naruhodo's late legal consultancy. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? It was very similar. Both blonde and have cute pouts. Yeah, Gina's pout is really adorable. I love her little expressions. She has that little kind of like grumpy, like sort of like punk kid kind of look, but then like when she's shocked, she just kind of like has this like little babu face. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it?
Oh yes, Iris's cooking was truly divine.
And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Shom's violin.
Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face next time we're in court.
Naruhodo-san, could I consult with you about something, I wonder? What's the matter, Susato-san? It's about the telegram I received. Ah, the one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. I've been summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? The telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice's office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once.
Oh no, that won't be necessary, Naruhodo-san.
I have been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose I shall find out tomorrow. What's this all about? Whatever it is, it's making me very uneasy. Oh, who could that be, I wonder?
Good evening, friends.
Ah, Iris. Hello again. Oh, Gina's here too.
Yes, Ginny's going to be staying with us tonight. She's gonna be sleeping in with me. Isn't that right, Ginny?
Well, yeah. Pigeon Code, glad I checked before I nearly said his real name.
Oops.
That wouldn't be the best.
How lovely. Let me make a pot of tea.
Man, tea this late.
You know, I've learned so much today.
Oh? What? What in particular?
All those things Ginny showed me. Wasn't it wonderful?
Oh, you mean all those pickpocketing techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we?
I think I've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it.
You might be getting ahead of yourself a little bit there. So, what brings you to our humble quarters this late hour?
Well, you see, I came to return this.
Wait, what? That's mine. Oh, however did you...
I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it.
Oh yes, I'd forgotten. Iris is literally a child genius.
So, anyway, here, you can have it back. Not that I really understand why you're wearing it, though.
Oh, thank you.
Alright then, good night.
Yes, good night.
So this is your office, isn't it? What do you think, Ginny?
Iris and Gina team up to steal Benedict's cane. Be like, gotta swipe all of his, like, stuff. His hat, his cane, his clothes. The important stuff. I think I won't fancy me chances with a lawyer, not what lives in a place like this.
Yes, me too.
It seems as though Iris here still has something she'd like to talk about. I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. Yes, I suppose she probably does. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about it.
Aren't you going to tell me?
I'm so sorry. I need a little more time, please.
Alright, I understand. I hope I haven't made you feel awkward.
Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I know what this is all about really, but... It's a story you made up, isn't it, Iris? This manuscript or whatever you call it.
It's not exactly a story I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries.
Daddy's?
That's right. I suppose I mentioned it to you earlier, but my daddy was Hurley's assistant once. His partner. And they solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases together.
Is that right, mister? Apparently so. I'm as surprised as you are, though.
And Daddy wrote all the details in every single case down, you see in his diaries. So I studied them and write my stories based on what actually happened.
So, where's your old man now, then?
He had to go on an urgent business to a faraway land. They'll be gone for a very long time.
There's certain things Gina says that are vital to understanding his character, pointing out directs it could be. Gina and Beg could end up being foils of sorts. I do feel like they're kind of both almost like sort of on the sort of like the darker side, considering how they're both kind of thieves in a sense. I sort of get it, yay. I never met him. Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps you should ask her. The doggo of Baskerville. Iris, this, what's it called? This Torgal of Baskerville story. I take it it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts.
That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow. From the other cases, I mean.
Oh, how?
I don't really know. But it must be special in some way. Because after I'd written it and I'd showed the manuscript to Hurley, he turned as white as a sheet. It was the first time I've ever seen him like that.
It pains me to have to say this after you toiled over this for so long, Iris. But this story must not be published at this time, under any circumstances.
Why not? It's one of my best works.
I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So please do not ask me.
Alright then, I won't.
But I do solemnly swear that I will explain everything one day, Iris. When the time's right. And that's how the manuscript came to be. With, Mr. Windibank, huh? That was a Baskervilles canon gay sex show. Barnaby was like, oh wait, like, what's it called? He was like, Iris, how did you come to learn about these terms? Putting what in where? Where did you learn from this? Learn about this? Mr. Hurley said it had to be somewhere safe. Wait, do you think Mr. Sholmes is on the ship because he came to Japan and knew of Watson's death? I think maybe at some point, like, maybe he learned from Kazuma. Because Kazuma would have known about the death, and maybe, like, I actually don't know if him and Kazuma ever spoke. But I'm sure that, like, with any knowledge about Kazuma's appearance, like, Sherlock might have found out at some point. That really gets my goat, doesn't it? It does. It's treating me like a kid. I mean, that's what it is. Keeping secrets and all that. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. Yeah? He said he wasn't at the liberty to talk about it. I'm sure there must have been a good reason. Yeah, it was in the diaries. I would think that maybe it ended up spilling out. Or maybe at some point in the diaries it would end up being something where y'all found out that, like, there was some kind of connotation attached to his studies along with, like, what purpose he had over there. You lot are too trusting for your own good. But it can't pull the wool over my eyes. Sholmes is lying to Iris. I bet my life on it. What?
Hurley's lying to me.
How did she get from sad to happy? That's so wild. I can't exactly move anywhere. I guess I'll probably click on people. On people. I've investigated thoroughly. No, I get it. Yellow. Your parents. I've realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any, have I? Never did have. Oh. Look, East End's full of orphans like me. No one's want nothing to do with us for the minute we were born. Not even our mums. We all got to stick together. The older ones look after the little ones, no. Make sure they get by. So that's why you're a pickpocket. Nah, diving's my life. Love it. I get a kick out of every time I lift some pompous idiot's purse. And that's how we have to afford to eat. I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents, I mean. I always thought I'd make everything alright. But I haven't listened to what Iris just said. It sounds like having parents ain't easy either. Oh. I mean, if you know you never had them, you won't feel like you're always wanting to meet them.
It's true. I do want to see Daddy. So much.
Oh, Iris. Oh wait, no. Let's see. I fucked up. Let's see if I can try to skip it. I forgot mop the floors got zoomies. Ah. I get that sometimes where it's like, sometimes I just get in like a real urge. Usually it's me with like sweeping. Or I feel like sometimes I just get this urge to like sweep up even though I have a vacuum. And it would just be like a way to like meticulously just gather enough dust to be able to justifiably be like, oh yeah, floor's clean. I'm so sorry, guys. Alright, Sholmes' lie. There we go. Gina, what did you mean when you said that you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons he popped the manuscript or whatever, right? But come on, there's obviously a load of rubbish. Oh my, why would you think that, Gina? It's simple. If that story was really in old Winterbeck's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could have known about it. Ah. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But Early would never do something like that. I'm sure of it. Ha! Grown-ups do a lot worse than that, believe me. They're face liars, the lot of them. You just ain't realized it yet. Something before is not like, oh no. What's it called? Make sure you pick yourself up. Light Yagami. Actually, Light Yagami did a couple little slips around the tail end of that show. That's that one. Sorry, I'm pulling up all these really old GIFs, but like in like some ancient like GIF, I remember like they took the last episode of Death Note and they turned it into this whole like, what's it called? This whole screen where like Light is yelling at Matsuda for not learning how to swim, and he's like trying to teach him how to swim before the Olympics. That's another thing I have to pull up. I'm telling you, the manuscript ain't at Winterbeck's. You'd soon see it if you had a look. Even if you think you trust him, I don't. That Sholmes a liar like the rest of them. If I'm honest, I wondered if Hurley was telling me the truth sometimes. See? Oh, but I don't mean like he sold it. I mean, it's sometimes I wonder if he might have hid the manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong for me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come along, Ginny. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make you breakfast tomorrow. I insist. Oh, yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. Good night then. Iris. I'm sure it's easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks like an adult. But deep down, she's still just a child. Well, I think it's time I turned in the night to Yamamoto-san. Naruhodo-san. I have to find it. John H. Wilson, Iris's father. But also, the name of the murderer visiting... the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yume University. It can't be a mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on here. Mr. Naruhodo. Mr. Naruhodo. That voice. That's Mr. Sholmes. What's going on? In the middle of the night. It's Miss Lestrade. She's gone. Gina? She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but the bed is empty. Well, she's an independent young woman. She's probably decided to go home now. I think not. From speaking to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfasting with Susato. No, I don't believe the girl's gone home. Over an hour. Oh. If you'll indulge me. Look out the window, my dear fellow. Sorry, I think this is the one where it was the swimming one. It's so old. I think that might be a good link. Hopefully the links actually work. What's this about? Wait a minute, why is there a light on at this time? That's Mr. Windibank's pawnbrokery. Mr. Windibank's. Oh no. It's simple. If the story is really in the Mr. Windibank's storeroom, there's no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, could know about it. Sorry, Iris. If you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. Could Gina have gone? It seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry, oh, no, not really. Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once. Miss Susato. I know, I remember it was something from like way back when I saw it on Adult Swim. Like someone mentioned, like I think I saw it shared, like the whole thing where Light Yakubi's like yelling at Matsuda and like all of the detectives about what's it called? The swimming and freestyle. Water resistance is huge. I think that the cocaine dinosaur is more on YouTube, but they have a GIF version of it. The lamp's burning. It must be Gina, mustn't it? Let's hope it's nothing more sinister. Come, there's no moment to lose. Clearly, there's something afoot inside. And there's no one here. Oh yes. There it is. What? A gun? Mr. Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes! What the? Has Sholmes been shot? Leave me, Mr. Naruhodo. But... after them! Go! Right. There's blood on the calendar. Oh shit. Blast. I've lost them. Hello, hello, what we have here? The alarm was raised off the pawnbroker, sir. Wouldn't happen to know something about that. Officer, come with me. It's my friend, Mr. Sholmes. He's been shot. Shot? With the policeman close behind me, I ran back to Windibank's.
Mr. Sholmes!
Mr. Naruhodo.
How bad is it? Never mind me, but there's much at stake. Behind that door.
The Herlock is definitely more captivating, but it is weird for Ryunosuke to have like a thick British accent as well. I like the kind of powdery like, there!
There, Mr. Naruhodo. Onto the look. Oh my.
Oh man, they shot him. They should play the Danganronpa music here. Let me see if I can get that. Oh no!
It's Gina.
It's Shayna. Save current progress. I'm so sorry, guys. It kind of fell around the time I was going to, what's it called? Call it quits for the night. I know it's an asshole thing to do, but it's starting to get super late. Maybe I'll go into it a little further. Just to confirm. Oh, everything's kind of playing by itself. After them go. And then that's just kind of the summary. Behind that door. In the storeroom. Hurry. Then the Danganronpa music. It's Gina. Oh, she has a gun. Oh shit. Oh, they planted the gun on her. Fuck. That moment, Windibank's pawnbrokery became a crime scene. Everything that followed happened in a whirlwind of activity. The arrival of police, the preliminary investigation of the scene, and the questioning. It was just before dawn before I was allowed back in my lodgings at 221B. Let's see. I guess I'll probably stop here. I'm so sorry, guys. Who gave the baby a gun? It's not healthy for Gina. Properly, Gina enrichment is smoke grenades. It's the only gun she's allowed to have. Nothing that actually causes violence. It's not the best. But yeah. I'm sorry it ended on such an intense note, but thank you all for coming along. It was so exciting. I'm really happy that everyone came along and that, what's it called? There was a nice raid in there. I'm really touched by it all. And I'm really touched that everyone was able to follow me through all this. But before I'm able to do this, next week I'm still gonna be doing Thursday. So Thursday around 6:30, I usually have Ace Attorney. Sometimes I do 6, but I try to aim to be a little more consistent with it. But it's usually that, and then Sunday Sunday is a little bit on the earlier side. I play like some Final Fantasy X. So at the moment, I'm currently at like the first big Blitzball game. So hopefully that's not going to be too miserable. But I'm going to poke my BD mark, poke the mic, and be able to send out all kinds of positive vibes as you go on to your next streams, which I know there will be plenty. There's definitely quite a few going along. But until then, I'll see you all either this Sunday or next Thursday. Bye now.